thing that I could play while I'm standing up, while I'm running across the stage, while the monitors are feeding back, and all the accompanying pitfalls that occur when you're playing live. So one of the things that came up was a way to. It's not a full, a wide bandwidth sweep, but it's a more compact version of it. But for me, it's way more effective. And what that is I take like an E minor kind of figure there. So what I'm doing there basically is three things. I don't know how I came up with this, but it just kind of popped in. Kind of a flamenco.
Oh, like a roll.
So I've got that basic, that plucking thing there. So there's your E minor. And then you hammer down with that, hit with that, pull off, pluck, pluck.
Similar to the Rasguiado technique.
Boy, if you say so. With extra cheese, maybe on that. But it's a bunch of techniques all together. Hit the wrong note. So what I did is I went.
And you're outlining the E minor and C major sounds.
Because that's what the chords of the song.
Exactly. So you're thinking the chords of the song already in the intro to your solo.
Yeah, because it kind of gives you the feel, sets it up, so it's not such a big surprise when the song comes in.
Which is important. It should be integrated into the song, right? It shouldn't be a standalone solo that takes away from the song.
Can be. In this case, it isn't.
Yeah.
In this case, we stick with the song.
It's more structurally related.
Yeah, it can be structured. There's no real rules as far as that goes, but some people like to try and keep things as much continuity, thread of continuity, which is cult of personality. So we got this thing here in E minor. I could resolve it by hitting the high E there, actually, but I'm hitting the D. So what I'm doing here on the C part of now when I'm hitting it, I'm hitting a fifth here.
Right.
So then.
Aha.
It's a kind of cool gun.
Ending with two tapped fifths in a sense.
Yes. So it's.
Yeah, that is a combination of techniques.
Yeah, so that you have about three techniques in all. Now, what somebody could do with that probably from when they take it off this tape and use it, there's all kinds of chord patterns you can use.
Right.
There's all kinds of ways you can do that. So once you get that technique down, where you can do that pluck, there's all kinds of variation you can do with it. A lot of times when I show people something or explain something that I've played, I'll come back and see some guy like about a year later, and he's like gone way off in left field and done all kinds of things that I never even thought of. So hopefully everybody that could pick up some portion or this whole thing, a year from now, it will become their own, and you can do all kinds of stuff all down the neck with it. That's just, I do a couple variations on it too in my solos, but for the sake of time, that's basically where it comes from.
Would you show us the tap-on technique you use in Addicted to That Rush?
Yeah, that's basically the thing starts out with like a trill. With the left hand doing a trill, probably go that's about like average speed. Some people do it way faster, some people not as fast, whatever, doesn't matter. But I managed to bring this one around and get it in between. So when it's going, it becomes just a blur of notes.
Right.
I stop, halt is a thing, and then we do that.
Oh, wait a second. Could you slow that down
Sure,
and break that down a bit for us?
Because it's really easy. There's nothing to it, really. It's very simple. A lot of times you see stuff go by fast, you think, oh, it's impossible, I'll never. But it's all so simple. It's almost embarrassing for me to show it because there's really nothing to it. That's basically all there is to it. So you're just taking the same move and just kind of moving it around within the framework of the key that you're in. then next string. Yeah.
You almost have to be in two places at one time, though, don't you?
Yeah, because a lot of what passes for speed and agility is just basically the ability for one finger to get out of the way of the other one so it can do its thing. Because I'm never ever going any faster than, my fingers don't move any faster than for hammering on. So when you see, a lot of notes are going by, but it's not a lot of movement. I mean, the actual movement I'm doing is not a lot of hand movement, but it's just a coordination of the two. It becomes kind of natural flow to it. And when you slow it down, take your time and really do it slow, strong, so all the notes are even. When you speed it up, it becomes just kind of like turning on a faucet. It really kind of flows. Stuff like that.
Wasn't there a phrase in Addicted to That Rush after the solo that you talked about once as far as a good one to develop strength?
Yeah, the second one, when Paul and I do the second part of it,
That's the one, yeah.
it's really hard because for guitar players, the strings are lighter, and it's a lot easier to just kind of roll off the strings, and a lot of sound comes up. For bass, you really gotta actually pull off that note there, which is kind of tough. Oops, there's that note again.
It's built into the bass.
There you go.
You know, that occurs to me that you're using shapes again.
Exactly. Now, all the stuff I said earlier about shapes applies here. G major, which is the key we're in. And then I forget what chord it goes to from there, but that's basically
Let's go back to the chorus.
That goes into the...
Right.
But,
which reminds me, you were also known for using chords a lot.
Yeah.
So you just played a couple. Could you tell us a little bit about the chords?
Yeah, when I'm playing
style you've developed.
Yeah, when I'm playing live all the time, instead of just hitting a really hard part that's going to hit an A note, I always hit the whole as many A notes as there are on the bass. Why not? Because I've always played like 3-piece bands, and as much noise, as much sound you can get in there, go for it. Yeah. So a lot of endings, instead of just a big instead of that little hit the whole thing. As many notes that work in E as possible. So that helps to kind of bring a 3-piece band, an extra invisible guy along. So for bass, as many chords as there are on any other instrument, only you're going to have to work with 4 notes. So the basic major, minor, suspended, and then any variation thereof. But understand with the bass, to play a chord on it, you're going to have to really to stick with with fifths and octave sounding things, because you get into these that's not going to work really loud with a super bass amp. It's going to shake all over the place. It's not going to really work. Unless you're playing by yourself and it's quiet or something like that. So you have to always temper the idea of using an unusual chord or something with the idea, is it really practical, useful, and does it sound good? Right. Rather than trying to think, oh, technically it works, so I'll do, it doesn't always work. And when you're out in the audience watching and you don't know anything about bass or guitar, you just hear something where, somebody looks at each other and goes, this doesn't sound good. They don't know why, but it's just because you have to temper that with a little bit of, what is that, taste? Something like that.